You were never meant to stay a garden, you were born to become a forest. Let that sink in. A garden is beautiful, orderly, and admired. But a forest? A forest is wild, expansive, powerful. A forest does not beg for admiration, it commands it. A garden survives under the care of a gardener. A forest thrives on its own, adapting, evolving, growing through storms and seasons. Many of us spend our lives trying to be gardens. Tidy, acceptable, pleasing to the world around us. We trim our dreams to fit into boxes. Prune our ambitions so they don't grow too wild. We plant flowers that bloom quickly for validation, instead of trees that take years to bear fruit. But what if you were not called to be neat and manageable? What if you were created to be deep, rooted, and unstoppable? A garden is safe. It is often fenced. It has boundaries. In the garden of your early life, childhood, school, beginnings, someone else plants the seeds. Your parents, teachers, society. They water your ideas. They pull out what they think are weeds. But sometimes the very weeds we are told to uproot are wildflowers in disguise, waiting to bloom. The garden stage of life is necessary. It's where you learn discipline, values, patience. But if you never leave the garden, you never discover the magnitude of what you're capable of. The trouble with most of us is that we would rather be ruined by praise than saved by criticism. Norman Vincent Peale. The garden makes us afraid of judgment. The forest teaches us to stand tall regardless. The forest doesn't ask to grow, it just does. It doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It grows through rocks, cracks, and ashes. Trees in the forest push through the soil with no one cheering them on. They're not cultivated, they're called. This is what becoming your true self looks like. When you no longer seek validation from outside, but pull your strength from within. When you stop asking for permission to pursue your dreams and you start building them anyway. Think of Oprah Winfrey, born into poverty, abused as a child, rejected over and over again. But she didn't settle for the garden she was born into. She became a forest of influence and inspiration, blazing trails for millions. These lives didn't bloom in a greenhouse. They grew where light was scarce and storms were frequent. When the storm comes, the garden can get ruined. But the forest? It gets stronger. Every challenge you faced, every heartbreak, loss, setback, and failure was not meant to bury you. It was meant to root you. Trees grow deeper roots during storms, anchoring themselves for the next season of growth. According to Joel Osteen, hard times may have held you down, but they will not last forever. When all is said and done, you will be increased. Pain pushes you. Struggle shapes you. Discomfort develops you. Don't curse your difficulties, bless them. They're the rain your roots need. You are not a finished product, you are still growing. And that's okay. The seed never looks like the forest, but the DNA is already inside. Start seeing your failures as fertilizer, your slow seasons as winter. Not the end, but preparation. The people who left you, maybe they were the fence around your garden, and their exit just gave you room to expand into your forest. Ralph Waldo Emerson rightly said, "The creation of 1,000 forests is in one acorn." You already carry everything you need within you. The courage, the ideas, the strength, the fire. You don't need approval. You don't need perfect timing. You don't even need certainty. You just need to begin. You reading this message. Yes, you. Maybe you've been told you're too much, too ambitious, too emotional, too different. But forests are too much. That's their power. Stop shrinking to fit into a garden that was never meant to hold you. Stop editing yourself to please people who can't see your roots. Stop waiting for the world to give you what you already have permission to create. It's time to expand. It's time to grow wildly. It's time to break past the fences of fear, doubt, and limitations. Let your ideas branch out. Let your voice rise like the canopy. Let your legacy take root in others long after you're gone. The sun doesn't ask the forest if it's ready, it just rises. And you? You don't need to wait anymore. Don't just grow. Expand. Don't just bloom. Multiply. Don't be a garden. Be a forest. Becoming a forest means choosing a path where not everything is laid out. There's no map, no manual, no guarantees. It's the road less traveled, the one filled with unknown sounds, paths covered in undergrowth, and the occasional howling wind. But it's also where legends are born. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Do not go where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." Everyone wants growth, but few are willing to face the wilderness it requires. The forest will challenge you, strip you, stretch you, humble you. But in the process, it will forge you. It will teach you how to create light when the canopy blocks the sun, how to climb when the ground feels unsteady, how to roar when the world expects silence. Gardens are controlled environments. Forests are not. Society often wants to contain you, to box your creativity, to temper your passion, to moderate your belief in the impossible. But you are not a houseplant. You are not meant to merely decorate a corner of life. You were born to dominate landscapes, to cover territory, to redefine environments. The redwoods of California didn't grow tall because they followed the rules. The Amazon didn't become vast because it stayed within lines. You won't become extraordinary by fitting into ordinary. Listen to what Michelle Ruiz said: if people are doubting how far you can go, go so far that you can't hear them anymore. Yes, sometimes to become who you're meant to be, you have to burn the old version of yourself. The garden might be beautiful, but if it's suffocating your true potential, it must go. Ask yourself, what fences are still around me? What beliefs are keeping me trimmed? Who waters my dreams only when they find them convenient? If it's not helping you grow into your forest, it's holding you hostage in a flower bed. At first, forests grow in silence. Alone. One tree, then another. Your journey may start in isolation. No applause, no backup, no spotlight. But keep growing anyway. You'll find others. The moment you step into your authentic expansion, you attract people who are also done with the garden life. Builders. Dreamers. Warriors. Forests don't grow by accident, they grow by alignment. Practice what Edmund Lee said: surround yourself with those who see greatness within you even when you don't see it yourself. What you build in the forest isn't just for you. The shade you offer will comfort the weary. The fruit you bear will feed the hungry. The roots you grow will stabilize the soil for generations after you. Your journey into the wild will become someone else's survival manual. Someone who's afraid to leave their garden will watch you and say, if they can do it, maybe I can too. I agree with Denzel Washington when he said, success is not what you have, but who you lift up and inspire. You didn't come this far to stay planted in the same pot. You didn't fight through darkness to live in a greenhouse. You weren't broken to remain small, you were broken to let light in. There is a forest inside of you. Untamed, unapologetic, limitless. Unleash it. Let the world hear the rustling of your rise. Let your growth shake the earth. Let your purpose root deep into the future. You were never meant to be a garden. You were born a seed of something far more eternal. Be the forest. The world is waiting. Here are a few powerful stories of people who broke through the garden gates and became forests in their own right. 1. Maya Angelou. As a young girl, Maya Angelou experienced deep trauma and became mute for nearly 5 years. She stayed silent not because she lacked intelligence, but because the world around her, the garden of societal expectation and personal trauma, conditioned her into fear and shame. But within that silence, something powerful was growing. When she finally spoke again, she unleashed a voice so poetic, so fiery, so deeply rooted in truth, that it reverberated across generations. She became a civil rights activist, author, poet, and teacher whose influence still echoes today. Her words: you may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. Maya didn't remain a carefully trimmed rose in a garden of oppression. She became a towering tree, offering shade, strength, and shelter through her art and activism. 2. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs started as a visionary in the comfortable garden of Apple, but in 1985 he was fired from the very company he co-founded. That rejection could have ended his story, many expected it to. Instead, Jobs went into the wilderness. He started over. He built Next and later bought Pixar, turning it into one of the most revolutionary storytelling studios in the world. And when Apple invited him back, he returned with a forest-sized vision that birthed the iPod, iPhone, and more, redefining entire industries. I didn't see it then, but getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. Steve outgrew the garden of his former success. His exile became expansion. His pruning birthed innovation. 3. Malala Yousafzai. Malala was born in a region of Pakistan where girls were banned from attending school. The Taliban sought to contain women like flowers in a locked garden. Visible but voiceless. But Malala refused to shrink. At age 15, she was shot in the head for daring to speak up. but she survived. And that bullet didn't silence her. It awakened the forest inside her. She went on to become the youngest Nobel Peace Prize laureate and a global advocate for girls' education. They thought that the bullets would silence us, but they failed. Weakness, fear, and hopelessness died. Strength, power, and courage were born. Malala is a living reminder that the attempt to trim a voice can only make its echo louder when that voice is rooted in purpose. For Elon Musk. Love him or hate him, Elon Musk is someone who refuses to stay in a garden. Most people would be content founding $1 billion company. Elon, he kept building. After founding Zip2 and selling it, he co-founded PayPal. Then he started SpaceX to reach Mars. Then Tesla to reinvent the car. Then Neuralink to connect the brain and machine. Then Starlink, the boring company, and more. He's chaotic, unpredictable, and often criticized. But that's what forest people look like. They grow in all directions. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. Elon didn't settle for the comforts of a tech garden. He chose the wild, and now his trees touch the stars. 5. Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years behind bars, wrongly imprisoned for standing against apartheid. That prison cell was a literal garden wall, an attempt to fence in his courage and cut down his resistance. But Mandela grew behind the bars. His ideas matured. His roots went deeper. And when he finally walked free, he didn't come out bitter, he came out bigger. He became the first black president of South Africa, led reconciliation, and planted trees of peace where there had been hatred. I have walked that long road to freedom. I dare not linger, for my long walk is not ended. Mandela didn't grow despite the storm. He grew because of it. The garden couldn't contain him. His forest healed a nation. These are not just heroes. They are examples. They lived lives that reflect the same principle. You were never meant to be a garden, you were born to become a forest. If they can rise, so can you. If they can stretch past pain, fear, and rejection, so can you. If they can impact millions by refusing to stay small, so can you. The world doesn't need another well-kept flowerbed. It needs your forest, your wild dreams, deep roots, unshakable truth, and bold branches reaching for the sky.
If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe for more powerful content.